Welcome to Half a Point, the podcast that saw the GWS Giants pull off the upset against all odds against the Lions. We called it here at Half a Point. That's why you got to listen every single week. This week is our round 15 best picks episode where we'll each be giving our five best picks against the spread. To help me break it down, I am joined by my co-host Carlton Superfan. Cuss, mate, how you going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just the usual, mate. Yeah.
Just the usual, just the usual. You're not a fan of the buy rounds, I hear.
Nah, not a fan.
I think I don't mind it. I like that we have footy every week, but I don't know. You're a fan. You're on the camp of let's have one week where we'd have no footy and then
Mm.
just have no buy rounds. But I don't know. I guess there's opportunity to jump on the board when there are buys. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also active on Instagram, on X, and on TikTok. So give us a follow on those as well. And also a reminder to please gamble responsibly. All right, Cass, we'll jump into round 14. Um, it was a good week for favorites. Favorites went 5-2 ATS. Um, but yeah, so we'll start with St Kilda Western Bulldogs. We are both on the Western Bulldogs. Do you want to break it down the game for us?
Yeah, so like you said, we're both on Western Bulldogs. Feeling pretty confident about it. We faded Ross Lyon as the underdog. And it was most definitely the right pick. Absolute domination. Just
They just owned them.
70. Yeah. Every aspect of the game. I don't think there was any sort of part in this game where we thought, oh, okay, maybe St. Kilda can bounce back here. It was just every passage of play was just all Bulldogs. Yeah, ended up winning by 72 points, covering very easily. But yeah, next up we had Hawthorn versus Adelaide.
Brutal.
Yeah, tough, tough one for me here. I was on Adelaide to cover. It was plus
Plus
two
two
and
and
a
a half.
half.
You lost by half a
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah. And they were up with maybe what 5 minutes to go in the quarter,
Mm.
probably less. And found a way to not only concede a goal but not kick another point. You literally, I think you messaged you. You're like,
Yeah.
Adelaide kick a point and we win. It
Yeah.
just did not kick a point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was brutal. Another week where I just have a brutal loss here.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
Adelaide was the right side. They were winning all game.
yeah.
They just didn't capitalize on the opportunities in the first half. And you knew Hawthorn was going to have their turn. And when they did, unfortunately, it was enough for them to cover on the scoreboard. So I wouldn't be mad about the pick. Obviously, I think it was a good stay away, honestly. It was a coin flip game
Mm,
in the end. So glad
yeah.
I stayed away from it. But yeah, I think Adelaide was the right side in the end, but bad luck there. Brisbane Giants, we said at the top. Brisbane at the Gabba, man, as favourites. I think they're 1-4 ATS this season. And there's a lot they've lost. They lost to like Melbourne. They lost to the Giants down here as well. So and yeah, this Giants team, you can see their handball transition game sort of came back. They moved the ball really well. Man, their kicking for a goal was unbelievable. Like Cadman from outside 50,
Yeah.
like as pure as it gets. Even Hogan, like they kicked out of their minds. So yeah, obviously Brisbane got like a lot of the scoring shots, but I was catching like pretty much like what 20 points was it? So
Mhm.
I guess the cover wasn't really in doubt, but. Yeah, great pick, great win. So I got to listen. Essendon, Geelong, not so great for us.
Definitely not. Were you on Essendon as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're both on Essendon. Um, Shambles, mate. I thought like what after the first quarter, sort of just lost a bit of hope. And yeah, it was just especially in that fourth quarter, really, put the hammer down there and just dominated every sense of the game, kicking 151 points, nearly winning by 100 points. Yeah, it was a shocking one there. So yeah, any
yeah,
thoughts on that one?
yeah. I think when I was talking about it last week, I was like, yeah, this is my fifth pick. Like, I didn't really love it. I didn't bet it too much, luckily. But I'm honestly like, I'd rather we be like dead early rather than be like a gruesome one at the end. Like as it,
Mm.
like at three-quarter time, I was like, hey, this bet's dead. Like it's fine. We can move on to the next one. Like honestly, I'd rather obviously I'd rather win, but if not a win, I'd rather die like that than
Yeah,
it
yeah,
to be
yeah.
a gruesome one at the end. But yeah, we take those losses like it just happens. North Melbourne, Fremantle. North Melbourne probably should have won. They had all the momentum in the last quarter. It would have been crazy if they won. Yeah, we're both on North plus the points, so plus 31.5 was never really in doubt. Yeah, it was the second week in Freo, sorry, in Perth. So yeah, I think it was a really good spot for them. They could have stolen it, but they just don't really know how to win.
Mm.
Yeah, Fremantle steals it at the end, but yeah, great pick again from us. Again, Swigger, listen. Port Adelaide, Melbourne, mate.
Oh, mate, you read it perfectly. You read this game perfectly. It was shambles. It was shambles for Melbourne. Like they just didn't look composed at all. I think you also mentioned last week how a bit going on behind like the experienced players. Even on the day, you saw a bit between Clayton Oliver and Petrarca. So yeah, obviously something going on there, but that's for them to figure out. But yeah, it was tough. Big. It was raining as well, right? Was it?
No, it was the
No.
weather was fine,
No.
but I think yeah, Melbourne, same old Melbourne, they just kicked in accurately.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like we like I got pretty. It was a game where everything sort of went my way. Where like at the end of the quarter, I think in the first quarter, Burgoyne takes a mark right as the siren sounds and kicks a goal, and then Pal
Mm,
Pepper got the 50 meters right at the end of the third quarter, kicks a goal. Just those little sort of moments just went my way.
yeah.
But that's just what you get with this Melbourne team. They're not disciplined. They're not well coached. So even though they move the ball really well, but so did Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide look really good from the back half. So yeah, as I said last week, maybe they're the team that makes a surge. Been fading them. I've been hating on Port Adelaide for a year and a half. Yeah, but I finally started jumping back on them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I feel like I bought low there, but moving on to West Coast Carlton, I don't know. I don't know how to read this game. Like, I'm glad we both stayed away from it because
Yeah.
yes, Carlton covered as road favourites, and after the first quarter, looked like the obvious side. But West Coast won after that. I guess if you take out the first quarter, West Coast won the game. So,
Yeah.
I don't know how to read your boys. You guys, even though you guys are still technically alive. I think you guys are dead. Like just looking at how you guys played, I
Mm.
think like I don't really think there's hope this year. So yeah, maybe park that Carlton take for next year. So um, I had a really good week. I went 4-1, so I'm now 39 and 31 ATS. So it's just under 56%. You had another 2 and 3. I think it's 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
36, 34 ATS, just above 500. Still above 500, so that's all right. You're one sort of just good week away from catching up, really.
Mm.
So um, wouldn't be too concerned. Again, you had a couple of really bad weeks, a couple of weeks in a row, so I wouldn't be too concerned. You could well be like 38 and 32 here as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't be too concerned. Yeah, as I said at the top, dogs went 2 and 5 against the spread. So really good week for the favourites. But if you want to say like the Adelaide Hawthorn one, like if Adelaide kick a point, like it's 3 and 4. So um, yeah, a good week for the favourites, but I wouldn't look too much into it further than that. All right, let's jump into round 15 here. Still another buy round week, so only 7 games to choose from. Still have to make 5 picks though, so obviously it makes a fifth pick really difficult. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll start with Fremantle versus Essendon Thursday night game at Optus. Last time they played, Fremantle was 6.5 point favourites at the MCG. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So one of us said they'll put their house on Fremantle that game, and one of us was on Essendon. We'll let you guess who was on who. Um, this time around Fremantle was sorry. This time around Fremantle are 30.5 point favorites. Where are you going with this one?
Straight off the bat here, I'm staying away from it. I feel like this is just two teams that are a little bit hard to read, given sort of what we saw last week. Fremantle, you could say they sort of need to bounce back after that performance from last week. Pretty much lucky to win last week's game. And then also having a look at Essendon, they just got absolutely demolished, and with the team that they're putting on the field at the moment, it's sort of hard for them to be a bit reliable. So yeah, just playing it safe and staying away from them this week. What about you?
Give me Fremantle minus 30 and a half here. Absolutely love this one. This is one of the easier picks on the board. Probably my first or second pick of the week. This opened at like 23. I
Mm.
honestly I make this like 38. So I was getting like 2 goals of value at the start. I'm still getting over a goal of value, I believe. I'd play this all the way up to like the late 30s, honestly. Um, the only pause is that there's a little bit of weather about, so I'm anticipating it to be low scoring, but this Fremantle team needs to bounce back from their performance last week. And Essendon, it's more of a fate on Essendon. 5 day break, going all the way to Perth. I know they got belted last week, so you might expect a response, but I just think they're not very good.
Yeah.
Um, if you're projecting Essendon to be a top four team, sorry, a bottom four team, this is not a bottom four line. A bottom four line will be in the late 30s to 40s here. So yeah, I feel like even though the numbers ballooned up to 30, I still show value on that number. But yeah, I've played alternative lines here. Like I feel like Fremantle couldn't really blow Essendon out of the water here. So absolutely love this one. Give me Fremantle minus 30 and a half here. Moving on to Geelong versus Brisbane Friday night game at GMHBA. Last time they played, Brisbane were 12.5 point favourites, and then only ended up winning by 9. That was earlier on this year, round 3. This time around, Geelong are 15.5 point favourites. Give me Brisbane plus 15.5, and give me Brisbane to win outright here. Absolutely love this one. I know they haven't won here since like 2003 or whatever, but this is probably the best Brisbane team that's going to be down there at GMHBA, right? So um, backs against the wall spot for this Brisbane side. They lost a couple in a row, but I think, as I said when I broke down the Giants game earlier on today, they like won the scoring shots by like a bunch. So yeah, they're getting the ball in there. They're just not converting the opportunities. Obviously, it's a little bit scary fading this Geelong team who've covered like 5 in a row. I mean, they've been really good as home favourites as well, the GMHBA this year. But Brisbane as road dogs. And have been really good, and also against like other top eight sides, like we saw against Adelaide, we saw against Gold Coast at home they covered, and another one on the road as well. So yeah, on the road as dogs, I think about it, you're just getting Brisbane as 15 point dogs here, so you're getting a really good number there. Do they win? I'm calling them to win. I think they do win. If they don't, I won't be surprised, but I love catching 15.5 here. What do you think?
Yep, give me Brisbane plus 15.5. I think you said it perfectly. Yeah, if this was at the Gabba, probably would be likely to fade them. But yeah, on the road they've been doing well. But like, I can sort of see the other side of the argument where you want to go with Geelong as well. But just sort of keeping in mind this is second on the ladder versus third on the ladder. It's going to be a quality game. Like, a 3 goal win for Geelong, like it's possible, but also I think we can expect to see Brisbane fight back a little bit here, and yeah, like you said, I'm probably not tipping them to win, but I think it'll be very, very close. So yeah, I like the pick.
Yeah, exactly. Take the points with these matchups. Mate, covering all these spreads makes me kind of hungry.
Hmm. Should we order something from the Cake Sorority?
Ah, yes, the cake sorority, where every cake is a slice of sisterhood or brotherhood.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or a glorious cover, the Cake Sorority has a perfect treat for every occasion.
Shoot them a message on Insta at the cake sorority and use the code half a point for 10% off your next order.
That's code half a point for 10% off your next order. Your spread is covered with the Cake Sorority.
Moving on to Carlton versus North Melbourne, Saturday afternoon game at the MCG. Um, Last time I played, Carlton were 18.5 point favorites and won by 82. Blew them out. That was earlier on in round 6. This time around, Carlton are 23.5 point favorites. Where are you going with this one?
Yep, so I believe last time they met was Carlton's first win of the season, so all the way in round 6. Was it
Second win.
second win?
West Coast was your first one. Yep.
Yep, yep, yep. But yeah, I think for them to blow them out by 82 points,
Mm.
pretty decent job. So I'm going with Carlton minus 23.5. I can see
Wow.
why you'd be like you'd want to fade Carlton here, but like you look at the team that we're putting up, both teams that are going to be put up on the day, it's not going to be too much of a difference. But like obviously counter argument is North Melbourne are playing better footy than they did back then, and Carlton obviously can't play more than two quarters of footy.
And no
Uh,
Harry.
Hey, yeah, but
Yeah.
he didn't have much impact on
Mm,
until like late in the game, I believe.
mm.
So yeah, jumping on Carlton here, bit risky, obviously knowing Carlton's history this year. But yeah, going with Carlton here.
Stay away from me. I definitely lean North Melbourne though. Like it almost made my five. Yeah, I sort of see what you're saying. Like you could say, yeah, Carlton beats up on these bad teams. Like, yep, they covered against West Coast as well. So they're 3-0 against West Coast and North Melbourne ATS this season, covering as favourites. Um, but I don't know, this just has a different feel to it. I feel like this North Melbourne team's on the rise, and you're getting a pretty good number. I haven't played it a lot. I might play North Melbourne money line just to sort of invest in the upside.
Yeah,
But yeah, I said there's a world where Carlton lose this game, right? So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. As a supporter, aren't you scared of this game? Do you feel like it's like a trap game or
Yeah, it could be. Also, Harry didn't play
I
last
didn't play last
time
time?
either.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
he didn't play. So even less difference to the team really.
That's fair.
But yeah, I definitely a bit scared. Like these are those games where it's like, yeah, you might choke it here, but yeah, I think it's a team that we can beat up on as well. So we'll see
All
how we
right.
go.
All right. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe it's a letdown spot for North Melbourne come back home. All right, cool. Moving on to Port Adelaide versus Sydney, Saturday afternoon game at the Adelaide Oval. Last time they played, Sydney were 14.5 point favorites, and Port ended up winning by 8. I think I was on Sydney that game and you were on Port, and it was a terrible pick by me. This time around, Port Adelaide are 7.5 point favorites. Give me Port Adelaide minus 7.5 here. I'm riding this Port Adelaide team, man. I told you last week, like this is the team that is gonna shoot their way up the ladder and bank a bunch of these wins in a row. They've gone two in a row now. Um, I just think they're undervalued. Like I know this is the public chalk side, like the professional side is Sydney in this game. So if you go with Sydney, not going to bang you for it. Like that's fair enough at all. But I'm just hypothesizing that like this Port Adelaide side is going to be the one that's going to be really good, and this back half of the year. So 7.5 is a really good number. With this Sydney side, who I think a couple big names like Gordon and Papley might be coming back. I hope they do, and this number goes like below 6. And then I'll jump on Port Adelaide even more. Like we saw this Sydney team also like go into the bye off a big win versus Richmond as well, and we saw last week a couple games where teams that went into the bye with a win. I'm thinking like St Kilda, like came out like really rusty. So I'm hoping that it'll be the same for Sydney. It's a really fishy number. Like I know I'm stepping into a trap. And like this could very well be wrong. I wouldn't advise making these types of picks, public chalk side, but I'm just investing in this Port Adelaide side. What do you think?
Mate, I'm stepping into the trap with you. Give me Port Adelaide
Come on
minus seven
down.
and a half. Here we go. No, I think I said last week as well. I still faded. I said give me one more week of fading Port Adelaide before I jump on them.
Yep.
Obviously a week too late. But yeah, I'm happy to ride this Port Adelaide team for a few weeks. And yeah, I think they'll get this win comfortably. I predict maybe like 15-point win. So yeah, happy to jump on this line here.
Yeah, man, it's so scary. Like Sydney's such a strong professional side. Like all the money's coming
Yeah,
around Sydney. Like this, yeah, like even before the game, like so even before last week's game, this was at like 6.5, and then after Port Adelaide won, it went all the way up to like 8, 9.5. But then all this money came in Sydney. I don't know if it's because those names are coming back. I'm hoping it's that, but I think we say often like when it's a star player and they're coming back for their first game. Other than the unicorns who are Bontempelli and Sam Darcy, like their sort of trend, like they beat trends. Like when it comes to like those so the second tier players, it sort of takes them more than a week to sort of get back into it. So I think it's overrated if they come back. So if the number goes back under six, it will be scary and it will feel like a trap. But I'm going to go with Port
Mm,
Adelaide here. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're stepping it with me. So moving on to Collingwood versus St Kilda, Saturday night game at Marvel Stadium. Last time they played, Collingwood were 8.5 point favourites in round two last year, and St Kilda ended up beating us, and we fell to 0-3. This time around, Collingwood are 30.5 point favourites. Where are you going with this one?
Look, faded St Kilda last week. I'm not gonna do it again. Give me St Kilda plus 30.5. Look, I think it's just a good spot to jump on St Kilda here. They obviously played an absolute terrible game last week. And it's just definitely a spot for them to bounce back. Collingwood, they're going to be coming off of a bye, so you know we've seen the bye round isn't that effective. So come back from that, they might just be a bit slow to start. Maybe that's just the what St Kilda need to sort of get their foot in the door and cover that 31 point line. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. Give me St Kilda here. What about you?
Doesn't get much easier than this. Give me St Kilda plus 30.5. Yeah, this is such a classic Ross line spot here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can I'm gonna play a little bit of St Kilda money line as well. There's a world where St Kilda wins this game. But this just feels like Collingwood 78, St Kilda 68 all over it, right? Like
Mm.
Ross Lyon's gonna go back to his goes back to his making the game dead ways. And this game is going to be a low scoring contest where it's going to be really hard for Collingwood to score. Yep, Collingwood is really good structurally as well defensively. So I don't know how St Kilda are going to score, but yeah, just this is a classic Ross Lyon spot. I know Ross Lyon as a dog hasn't been doing great this year, but this is one of those spots where you just have to jump on him. Like it's just backs against the wall. They got blown out last week. They're going to bounce back here. I don't see them getting blown out 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, and
Mm.
as we saw with the Melbourne game as well, you're getting a really good number fading this Collingwood team. Their value's really inflated right now in the market. So yeah, absolutely love this St Kilda team. Moving on to GWS versus Gold Coast, Sunday afternoon game at NG. Last time we played, GWS were 13.5 point favorites and ended up winning by 39. This time around, the Giants are 2.5 point favorites. Stay away from me, man. This line stinks. What the hell is this line, man? Like, I do not understand this at all. All the money's coming on the Suns here. And the Giants, after their big win last week, for some reason, like, why is this number not 7.5? Like, I don't understand all the money coming on Gold Coast. Yep, Sam Taylor is out, but that only accounts for maybe a couple of points. It's at NG. The Giants always beat up on the Suns as well. I think the last two times last year that they played each other, the Giants won and covered both times as favorites. And we've seen Gold Coast this year be as road dogs, just not cover as well. So yeah, so I'm staying away from it just because the line's so fishy. Like Giants -2.5 seems like such a huge trap, but I feel like it's the right place. So I'm staying away from it. What do you think?
Yeah, this was the one that I squeezed in. So I've squeezed it in as my fifth pick. So not having too much confidence in this, but I've gone with Gold Coast at plus 2.5. I do,
Wow.
yeah, I do see Gold Coast winning this game. Like you said, it's usually always Giants beating up on the Suns, but yeah, I don't know. I just have that feeling that Gold Coast they've had a few disappointing losses in the past few weeks, and they're due for a bounce back. Um, Giants with a huge win last week on the road. So yeah, I just feel like this is the game where Gold Coast sort of come back a little bit, and yeah, get the win. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, they have been great at NG, I guess. Didn't cover against Richmond, didn't cover against
Mm,
another team as well. I also lost in Canberra to Port as well. So yeah, I don't hate that pick. Oh yeah, against Freo, they didn't cover.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate it. Yeah, obviously the pros are seeing something with this Gold Coast side. So you're on the professional side. So yeah, not going to bang you for it. All right, moving on to final game of the round: Western Bulldogs versus Richmond Sunday 3:20 game at Marvel. Um, Last time they played, Western Bulldogs were 18.5 point favorites and we won by 91 at the MCG. This time around, the Western Bulldogs are 49.5 point favorites. Where are you going with this one?
This one's a stay away for me. Few reasons. I think Western Bulldogs it's an attractive pick here, just because of what they're doing to teams right now. But also it's just a big line. They did just beat up on St Kilda. Um, we saw Richmond a couple of weeks ago just have a disappointing outing. So yeah, I think I feel like it could go either way. But if I did have to pick a team, probably Western Bulldogs. But like I said, I just have no confidence behind it. Can't find a reason to really back it up. What about you?
Give me the Western Bulldogs minus 49.5 here. I'm just fading this Richmond team who probably they're a young team. They probably go into the bye. They're probably like, I don't know, put their feet up. They've done a bit of drinking or something, gone on a holiday. They're going to come back and they're going to be slow and rusty. And this Western Bulldogs team is humming right now. And we see with this Western Bulldogs team, like when they beat teams, they really beat teams. So I'll definitely betting on the upside here. I'm looking at those alternative lines as well. Um, yeah, obviously it's laying a big number. And every time I've laid a big number this year with these big favorites, I'm thinking Brisbane West Coast where West Coast covered, and I'm thinking Richmond Giants where the Richmond covered. The favorite was like not close in either of those games. I'm hoping third time lucky here with this Western
Mm,
Bulldogs with the Western Bulldogs side. Yeah, I know it's a big number. You're getting an inflated number, so you're not getting great number in the market. But as I said, like I don't think the number's really going to matter here in this case, where it's either going to be a really terrible pick again, or Western Bulldogs just going to blow them out. Like I don't really see it being close. So now that I've said it, it's going to be 50 or 48. Yeah, so give me Western Bulldogs minus 49.5 here. All right, that wraps up our round 15 picks. Run us through your five, Cuss.
Yep, so we've got Brisbane plus 15.5, Carlton minus 23.5, Port Adelaide minus 7.5, St Kilda plus 30.5, and then Gold Coast plus 2.5.
So is that three dogs?
Yep, three dogs.
Yep. So I've gone with Fremantle minus 30.5, Brisbane plus 15.5, Port Adelaide minus 7.5, St Kilda plus 30.5, and Western Bulldogs minus 49.5. So for the first time in a year and a half, I've gone with three favorites and two dogs.
Yeah,
I've never gone with
wild.
more than two favorites. It's unbelievable and it's unprecedented. I could be ruining
Yeah.
this, but I don't know. I just feel like they're the right side, so
Mm.
sue me, I guess. But as I said, mathematically, more favorites are likely to cover during these buy rounds. So yeah, I don't know. Could be a terrible week, especially with that Port Adelaide one. I feel like it's a big trap. But yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up here, Cuss?
No, I just want a positive week, mate. It's at least a 3-2, so I can walk away smiling.
That's right. Yeah, me too. All right. As a reminder, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, see you later.